All right, welcome back. Episode 7, Backyard Brawl. Eagles lose yesterday. Honestly, the least I've cared about an Eagles game in it probably ever. The game had no juice to me. I know that it ended up having real implications, but what we found out is our backups suck. They're terrible.
Yeah.
Jacorian Bennett is awful, and we were excited when he was brought in here because his PFF numbers look good and everything. He's terrible. Keely Ringo is terrible, but I think we all knew that, and
Yeah.
there was a clear reason why he wasn't playing. Um, the guys that do play and are going to have to play played pretty well, I thought. Jalix Hunt had a whale of a game. Uh, Jahad Campbell played pretty well. It was nice to see Jeremiah Trotter on the field. He played really well. Um, Tanner McKee didn't look great, and it kind of shut down any conversation of, he could play instead of Hurts, and the Eagles would be just fine. We now know that's not the case. Tank Bigsby looked really good. I think that in the playoffs there should be, anywhere from 2 to 5, somewhere in that range, scheduled plays for Tank Bigsby. Will
hmm
Shipley is terrible.
Yeah.
Should never be on the field. Um, you know, Jahan Dotson just really isn't an impact player as much as,
No.
I like Jahan Dotson a lot, but he's just not really an impact player. Grant Calcaterra was playing well, and it sucks that he got hurt. Um, the
Yeah,
backup
no. I
line
mean,
didn't look too good.
I wasn't expecting them to go in there and look like all-stars, but at the same time, it would have been nice
I thought
to
they
get
were
a
going to
win.
win. I thought they were going to
Yeah,
win.
so did I. So did I. So did I. Because that Commanders team is bad. Like they're
Yeah.
bad. Josh Johnson beat you. He
Yeah,
beat you.
that's the second time now that under pressure, he's just basically chucked the ball to the backside and got picked off. He did it. Cooper DeJean had the interception in the game in Washington, and then Jalix Hunt with an interception. And I saw a cool stat for Jalix Hunt. He's the first Eagle to lead the team in sacks and interceptions in the
Interceptions,
same
yeah.
in the same year.
Yeah. Well,
So
he played
good for him.
safety at Cornell, which I
Yeah,
texted you
and
yesterday. I had no idea about that. And then they switched him at what was it?
Houston Christian, I
Southern
think.
Houston Christian, something like
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
So
But
he's
it's
going to be a
really
great
cool.
player for the
Yeah, he's gonna
Eagles
be
for a
great.
while. He
Yeah.
fits Fangio's system almost perfectly because whenever they do anything exotic, they can actually like drop him out into coverage and they feel pretty comfortable with him out there. They did it yesterday with Josh Uche. I didn't like that very much, but um,
I
you
mean,
know,
he's not gonna play. He's not gonna
listen,
see the
we
field.
yeah, he's been a healthy scratch basically
Yeah.
every game
Which is
outside the
weird
first
because he
like
went
three.
from our second defensive end at the beginning of the season all the way down to like our fifth guy on the rotation.
Yeah,
Which is
well,
weird, which I kind of feel big, kind of sucks for him, but
yeah,
that's just how it ends up working out.
yeah. I
And
mean,
that's without Brandon Graham too. Brandon
Nolan
Graham's not
Smith
playing DN.
was hurt early
But
in the year, so Nolan Smith came back. They traded for Jalen Phillips. Then Brandon Graham comes back. So just a lot of factors that go into, him not getting on
Mhm.
the field. They didn't get really any pressure yesterday rushing the passer. I don't think they had any sacks.
No,
They had a couple nice blitzes from their linebackers, but no sacks. Uh, a guy that we both kind of said we were excited for at the beginning of the year. Ty Robinson did not look
they
made
didn't. He
almost no
didn't do
plays
anything. But
yesterday.
I think you got
He
to give him another. I'm not gonna base his play off of 1 year. He's barely seen the field. It's very hard when you have Jordan Davis, um,
more
Jalen
Ojomo,
Carter
Jalen
playing
Carter.
Moro Jomo, even a guy like Byron Young. Like it's gonna be
Yeah,
pretty
Byron Young made a
difficult to
couple
see if
plays
Byron
yesterday.
Young has looked great this year,
Yeah,
despite how much he's played.
especially in the run
Yeah,
game. He's not as big of an impact guy in the pass
no,
rush,
but
but
a guy like that has been in the league for what, 3 years, 4 years or something like that, maybe less than I don't even
boy,
know. But he's obviously going to play more than Tyler Robinson. So give
yeah,
Tyler Robinson a few more years, 2 more years, and if he doesn't see the field, he doesn't see the field. But I mean, he's the least of my concerns on the
yeah. I
defense. I mean,
mean,
look at the look at our backups in the secondary.
yeah. I think I was thinking
They're like
about this.
handicapped people. They're morons. They're I can't say the word, but
Yeah,
I could go out there and probably make a play.
shower thoughts that I just had when I was just taking a shower. I was like, what would they do if, we've seen Adoree Jackson go down a couple times this year. I think
Oh, they're fucked.
They would bring Michael Carter in to play nickel, and as mediocre as he's the best nickel in the league. But as an outside corner, when we have had to see it this year, he's just mediocre as an outside corner. They would probably move Cooper DeJean outside. They would put Michael Carter in the slot and or in the nickel, and they would live. But I think having the combination that they do, um, it's going to be important, these defensive tackles. Some of the ones that played yesterday, Jordan Davis played some snaps. Byron Young played a lot of snaps. Mora Ojomo played a lot of snaps. They're going to have to be big next week because the 49ers are going to try and run the ball. And, they have McCaffrey. So,
Hmm.
but let's just briefly get into the conversation. We obviously ran this into the ground yesterday, but Detroit ends up winning in Chicago. Uh, we before the game, a couple of us thought Detroit was going to win. A couple of us thought Detroit was going to lay down and not really having anything to play for. But we've seen Detroit in this scenario before in 2022, I believe. The Packers were playing to go to the playoffs,
Uh,
and Detroit goes into Green Bay, Detroit already being eliminated, and beats the Packers, taking the Packers out of the playoffs. I forget who it put in, but so we know under Dan Campbell they're not just going to lay down, and they didn't,
nah.
and they came out and they won the game. Eagles could have moved up to the 2 seed with a win, but they'd made the decision to rest starters, get as healthy as possible for the playoffs. Clearly, they're comfortable with the reality that they may have to go on the road if everything is scratch. They get a home game next week, which is good. But what are your kind of thoughts, and how would you have played it as a head coach?
I would have benched the starters.
Yeah,
Like there was no point. You're playing a bad Commanders team, and some could argue you could have played them in the first quarter. If that was the case, I wouldn't have been upset. What I was a little confused by was I understand 1,000 yards in a season is it's a big milestone. Like, to a receiver, that's a big deal. In the grand scheme of the season, is it really like, is it all that? Was it that important to play him to get us 1,000 yards? Well,
yeah,
you could have said the same thing last year. They should have played Saquon
right.
to
Yeah,
get his, which to me, and I'm pretty sure to every other fan, is more important than a receiver getting 1,000 yards in a season. And congrats to Smitty. I don't care. Like, I'm happy about it. But I don't know. I would have been happy to see Saquon play last year, and then they take him out. But as far as playing the starters the entire game, you shouldn't have had to play the starters in this game to win. To me, the reason you lost was not just because of the secondary, but because of our play calling, which has been horrible all year, and somehow it's getting worse and worse and worse. You're playing with a backup quarterback. I get it, but he's not that bad. Okay, I don't think he's that bad. He should have been able to beat this
he
Commanders
was
team.
bad yesterday.
I didn't.
I don't think he's bad,
I don't think
I don't
he's
think he's
bad
bad.
though.
I still think he's one of the better backups in the league. Like in a day, well, actually, surprisingly, a lot of teams that were out of the playoffs ended up playing their starters. Like I was surprised to see, Joe Burrow, who's been banged up out there for the Bengals. Dak Prescott played like a half. Um, but my take on Tanner McKee yesterday was like clearly not a mobile guy at all
No.
and continuously was like trying to run and make plays outside of the pocket. Was getting he had a ton of throwaways. Um, he got hurt. He had a nice throw, I thought, to Jahan Dotson over the middle of the field that
Uh-huh.
Jahan Dotson dropped. The interception was bad. He he
Yeah.
got he got baited. It was basically like a double post and Kylan Granson ended up coming wide open and he threw it to Jahan Dotson and got picked. But then again, like, Darius Cooper doesn't take that 15-yard questionable penalty, but
I
it's
mean, they're
something
gonna
that you
call that
can't
every
do.
time. They're gonna
Yeah,
call it
right.
every
It's something
time.
you can't do. But, he made that nice throw to Darius Cooper to get them down to like the 3-yard line and then that gets called back. So, uh, I think he did some things that were good, but I just didn't like that he was trying to run and be mobile when that's clearly not his game or his style of play.
Yeah, nah. To me, the game fell on play calling. Tank Bigsby was your best player the entire game.
Yeah, he didn't
Why
touch
is
the
he
ball in the
barely
fourth
getting?
quarter.
Why is he's not getting any touches in the second half? Barely, barely. And then in the
Yeah,
fourth quarter, there's nothing. There's
they
literally
clearly
nothing.
wanted to throw the ball a lot.
Why are we throwing 40 times a game with a backup quarterback? That should never happen.
I don't know.
Never. We didn't even do that with
I also could
Hurts.
see though that they didn't want to put in a game like that, you don't want to put, they weren't going to do anything special and put something on tape. I see that part of it.
No, but on
They did run more, play action like bootlegs, which I liked, and I wish they did that more with Hertz. Like he had McKee had a couple easy throws. He also uh there was one play I remember that they ended up not getting the first down, but McKee could have ran for the first down, and he ended up throwing it, which it was
no,
incomplete, and they didn't get the third. They rushed on third and one, third and two, and they didn't get it. Um, so I don't know.
it would have been
I think.
one thing. It would have been one thing if the Bears won and we lost. Like that wouldn't have been a huge deal to me. But
Hmm.
it's the fact that Detroit went into Chicago, which I said was going to happen. I said they were going to beat Chicago. Detroit had nothing to. They want to go in and they want to beat what? Is this? No, did Chicago win the first game against them?
No, the Detroit blew them out at home.
Yeah. So yeah, Detroit wants to go out and sweep their division rival, the Chicago Bears. The fact that Detroit went in and won and you lose to the Commanders made this 10 times worse. Now, looking at the playoff picture, am I upset that we're playing the 49ers? No. Quite frankly, I mean, aside from playing the Packers, I would rather play the 49ers than the Rams. But, it, it, you'd still rather be the 2 seed and get 2 home games possibly than, you know,
No, I mean you would get two home
yeah.
games, but in my opinion, and shifting our focus away from the Washington game and onto kind of what is upcoming in the playoff picture. Um, I believe if I had to make a bracket and predictions, I believe that Green Bay actually goes into Soldier Field and beats the Bears. Um, you know,
Ah, no.
Listen, Green Bay beats them in Lambeau. Good game. Uh, Keyshawn Nixon with a late interception ends the game. Then the return game, Parsons, not playing, in Soldier Field. It took a Herculean effort from the Bears. A late touchdown, then a recovered onside kick, then a drive down the field and a touchdown to Jade Walker on a fourth down, and then a 2 point conversion, I believe they had to get. And then they go into overtime and credit to Caleb
They
Williams,
lose. Yeah.
makes a ridiculous throw, and they win the game. But the Packers should be sitting at 2-0 against the Bears this year. And I think if you're the Packers, this is the matchup that you probably wanted. I would say the Packers would rather play Chicago than play us, because we have had the Packers number these past 2 years.
Yeah.
Uh, so, if everything is scratched, you're going on the road in round two to Chicago. Do you think
I'm
that
not,
going to
but I'm not
Chicago
like
worries?
I'm not comfortable with that. You know, you'd obviously rather be the home team,
You'd rather be
but
the
at the
home team,
same time, but at the
are you
same time, I'm not comfortable playing Chicago
you're scared to
in
go to
Soldier
Chicago?
Field.
That
Yeah,
game worries you?
yeah.
I disagree. I
I,
think if we were to play
it's a
Chicago
hard place to
again,
play. It's not an easy place to play, and that's not these fans. They're not going to travel to Chicago like they can travel to these other cities. You know that.
no, I
So
think
it's
the
not going
Eagles
to be
fans travel everywhere. I
it's
think the
not
Eagles
going to
fans
be
are everywhere.
it's not going to be a home game type of environment. But
No, it's not.
who knows if we even end up playing Chicago?
Right, there's a lot of things that have to happen.
Yeah,
The Eagles got to win. Uh, you know,
but I'm
uh,
comfortable against San Francisco. I got no problem playing them.
yeah, I feel good against San Francisco too, especially with San Francisco coming off their worst game of the year
Uh-huh.
against Seattle. I like our matchups across the board. I do think Brock Purdy is a good quarterback. Um, I think that, he's gotten into a rhythm. George Kittle poses a lot of issues. He's had a phenomenal year. Jawan Jennings has had a good year, but I'll take, Quinyon Mitchell should be able to win that matchup. And we'll see what they scheme up, what they decide to do with George Kittle. And then defensively, the Eagles offense should have success. I would not be surprised if the Eagles come out and try and throw the ball early and take advantage of some of the matchups that they have on the outside. Renardo Green on one side. The 49ers will play sides with their cornerbacks. So Diamador Lenore will always be on one side. Renardo Green will always be on the other side.
Yeah.
So, the Eagles can, put whoever they really want whenever and get the matchups that they want.
So we'll see what happens. I mean, I don't know. I'm comfortable playing the Niners. I think, San Francisco playing here for the first time in what, 2 years since 2023.
Hmm.
I think we have the upper hand. Um, I don't think Brock Purdy is a good playoff quarterback. I mean,
I mean, he went to a super
you know,
like he's been good this year. There's no way around it. He's been good this year.
I don't think he's going to play very well against us. That's just my prediction. I think our linebackers are good enough in coverage to stop George Kittle. I'm worried about the run game, stopping the run.
The Eagles' run defense has been better since the Chicago game, so, which gives me, a good amount of confidence.
Yeah, but look at who we've
Getting a
played
healthy
since the
Jalen,
Chicago game.
getting a healthy, yeah. Well, I mean, James Cook was leading the league in rushing,
Yeah,
so
but
but getting a healthy Jalen Carter back clearly makes a difference, and they have
yeah,
bodies that they can rotate in.
which
They used
McCaffrey
they
is the best. He's top
Yesterday
three
they
running
used a
back in the
lot of
league.
yesterday they used some five-man fronts against Washington, which I think is something that we'll see more of in the playoffs possibly. Uh, but yeah, I'm cool with the San Fran matchup.
I don't know. This is it's tough because I cannot as an Eagles fan, I'm obviously going to be biased. I truly think we're going to win, but it's very hard to be like confident about it. Just by the way that this team has played all year. I'm really worried about the play calling. That's
Yeah,
the number one thing I'm worried about. I
that's
am really, really worried about the play calling that we're going to see on I think what we play Sunday.
yeah.
So
Happy we play Sunday.
yeah,
So the other two NFC teams play Saturday, and then
I
it's
hate the Saturday games. I
yeah.
cannot
I don't
stand the
like that there's a
Saturday games.
Monday game. The Monday game is weird to me,
Yeah, that doesn't make
but
sense to me either.
it's just ESPN. ESPN dominates the sports world, so ESPN and ABC.
Jeez.
Yeah, but looking around the rest of the league today had some movement with coaches. So Jonathan Gannon is out in Arizona. Would you agree with that?
Yeah,
Probably a good
9 game
decision.
losing streak. I mean,
Yeah, not. I don't think they
he should
got
have
it.
been fired. He should have been fired last year.
Yeah, maybe
So
even after his first. Well, he ended his
yeah,
first year well, and but
yeah.
Jonathan
But
Gannon's out after
yeah,
3 seasons.
I'm not a fan
Uh,
of firing a head coach after 1 year, unless you literally go 0-17.
so you would disagree with Pete Carroll being fired?
Yeah, probably. I think that
I
team is
didn't.
that bad. I think the team
Yeah,
is
I
that bad.
I agree, and
Hold on, I'm blowing my nose. Keep going though.
I think a guy like Pete Carroll, who's had a proven track record of success as a head coach, he's been coaching for forever in the college game and the NFL game. Uh, it just didn't make it. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me to move on from a guy like that when clearly your roster is bad. Like you have Max Crosby, and that's
That's
about
it.
it.
That's it.
Maybe they fired him because of his decision to hire Chip Kelly, and we know how much of a disaster that ended up being.
Where did
So.
he just go?
Northwestern. He's gonna
Mm,
be the OC at Northwestern. Um, oh, and after this, we got to check back on our brackets. I know
yeah,
I lost a few
mine's fucked.
after going
Mine's
4-0 the
fucked.
first weekend. I know I
Yeah.
lost a few. Um, yeah, just not. I don't think it's a good decision. I don't know who they can get, who they'll decide to bring in, and get this
I
thing
mean, a
turned
guy
around. Like
like
you, I think
bringing in a guy like Dable, would that really help? Like,
nah, Dable's not getting a
no.
head coaching
I think all
job.
the
It's
coaches that are fired, they're not better than Pete Carroll.
Yeah, I think you got
So
to give Pete Carroll a chance to, get an improved roster. I think he is a good coach. But I think the Chip Kelly thing definitely plays a big factor because, the stories come out that he was calling plays that weren't even in the install. He was, you know, like I don't know. There was a whole bunch of
that
stuff.
was crazy too.
Well, he's a
Just calling
moron.
plays that just were not there.
Yeah, he's an idiot though. Uh, and then the third coach that was fired was shoot, who was it? Kevin Stefanski. in Cleveland, which I think we
Oh
all knew
yeah,
was happening.
that was gonna
Uh,
happen. He's been the coach for what, 7 years,
yeah, he's been.
something
I
like
thought he
that.
was going to get
Yeah.
fired for a couple years now. Went to the playoffs one time, won one playoff game.
Well,
Uh,
I think that one playoff run was the only
enough to
thing
keep him
keeping him from
around.
getting. Yeah, it was the only thing keeping him from getting fired.
Yeah, but that's another job that like the management and
It's
everything that goes
awful.
into it is horrible.
It's awful.
They
It's
said
awful.
today that they were like gonna evaluate what they have in quarterback. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if they draft another one. I don't think they'll draft one in the
Yeah.
first round, but like maybe in later rounds they pick somebody that can come in and compete.
I
It's
just don't think that the drafting of the quarterbacks this past draft was a Kevin Stefanski decision.
no, he
I
clearly didn't
don't
want Shador.
I don't think he wanted Shador. I don't think he wanted Gabriel.
He
I,
may have wanted Gabriel for where they picked him, like earlier
like
in the
maybe,
draft.
but I at
But
the end of the day, I think that's a front office decision. It's
yeah, and
malpractice from the
and I
front
didn't think
office.
Shador was all too bad this year. I
I
think
think
he
he's good.
did.
I think he's going to be good. I think he's going
Yeah,
to be
I
good.
think
You
they
got
need
to
to
give
get
him
him
a
some
full
help on,
season.
and they got
Yeah.
to get him some help on the outside. He needs some weapons. Harold Fanning cannot be your best
I
receiver.
mean, he's got Jerry Judy. He's
Yeah,
not
Jerry
great.
Judy's getting pretty old though.
Yeah.
Um, so now the other coaching decision is Zach Taylor in Cincinnati is going to be returning for his eighth season, which I thought was surprising. I get it. He went to one Super Bowl, but really has had very limited success
It's
other
been
than that. They
downhill
went
since
to
then.
another
Yeah.
AFC championship game, but and I get it. Joe Burrow's hurt a lot. Um, but like, you've got a lot of talent on that offense. Like you should be able to win some games with a backup quarterback, and they
Hmm.
seemingly can never win with anybody
Yeah.
but Burrow.
Is there
So,
anyone in college that you think could end up being a head coach? Because I mean, you know more about that shit than I do.
I mean, it would have to be somebody a little bit. Well, the name that was popping up was Marcus Freeman, but he's returning to
Nah,
Notre
he's
Dame.
staying. Yeah.
Marcus Freeman was connected, it seemed like, to the Giants job, but he is staying. I really don't think there's anybody in the college game. Maybe like, you know,
Wasn't
it all
Kiffin wasn't Kiffin's name being thrown around for Tennessee or something like that?
the Titans.
Yeah, like before it was between that and going to a different school.
I just don't think Kiffin has like Kiffin's like he's kind of a weird dude. Like he says a lot of weird stuff. Um, he's not a great like interviewer. Obviously, we know that, he left his team cold and now, they're making a run. And I think everybody's rooting for them. I
Uh,
mean, I am. I'm rooting
yeah,
for Ole
I
Miss
would like to
to
see
win
them
it
win.
all.
I like
Um,
Pete Golding.
Ole
So
Miss or Oregon for me is who I would like to see win. Or
I don't know.
Indiana.
I really like Indiana. I really like
I just
Indiana.
don't want Miami to win.
I don't like Carson Beck, but at the same time, I think if Indiana wins this game and the championship, I seriously don't think that they're going to lose or win a game by less than a touchdown. I think every game, I think the next two games from here on out, if they win both games, it'll be by more than a touchdown.
I think Oregon is definitely a tough game for them. An opponent that they've seen already. They did go into Eugene and win, but Oregon's good, man. Oregon's
Yeah,
defense played really well against
yeah.
Tech. Dante Moore is a good quarterback. Um, but yeah, I mean, I could see like maybe if Oregon wins the national championship, like a guy like Dan Lanning could make the jump, but I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it's gonna happen. I
I
don't
think
think
he'll
it's gonna
stay. I
happen.
think he'll
Yeah, I
stay.
don't think it's gonna happen. But like, I think he's a name that could come up because he's a little bit younger. Like a guy like Signetti, if they were to win the national championship, like he's older. Like I don't see him, wanting to
No.
go
Well,
to the
no.
pros. Like I think you have to be younger to make that decision to
Well, he
to to
also
go and
can.
go pro.
He literally can. He just signed a 10-year
Yeah, he just
deal.
signed a big extension.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, I don't see any college coaches going up to the pros. I think the names for head coaching jobs around the NFL is I think Clint Kubiak could get a head coaching job. I believe he's the offensive coordinator in Seattle. Brian Flores is an interesting candidate. The Vikings defensive coordinator. Whoever the Texans defensive coordinator is could get a head coaching job. Robert Saleh, I guess, could pop back into spaces, but I would be surprised on that one.
I think you would have to really be stupid as a GM to make him your head coach. He's just not.
Yeah,
He's one of those coordinators who they've tried it out and it just doesn't work. So I think that's a guy. He's like a Fangio guy.
Yeah. I saw a tweet that
He's a
had a
he's a
list.
coordinator for life.
Here, I'm gonna look up head coaching candidates and see. Um, uh,
Is Mike Evans going to retire?
I saw that on Twitter. They made
Yeah,
like a
a thank you post.
yeah.
Thank you,
Jesse.
thank you.
So here's the list. Some Kevin Stefanski is listed as a head coaching option, which I just don't get it. Like, I just see limited success other than one playoff win. You know, like I wouldn't bring that guy in to just be a head coach right away. I get it. He's been a head coach for a long time, but I'm not,
Yeah,
bringing
but
him in right away.
again, but look at the teams he's had. It's just
Right, but like if
bad teams.
right,
Like
but
maybe a guy like that just needs,
what job
a
though is
decent
open
team. Oh, I don't
that
know. Yeah, I don't know.
like I don't like if the Ravens move on from Harbaugh, like I don't see the Ravens going and like, oh, we're gonna go get Kevin Stefanski and that's gonna solve our problems.
I don't think they're going to move on from Harbaugh though.
I think they will. I think it's
I
time.
don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Um,
there weren't a lot of this. I was looking at Ravens Twitter and like Ravens like TikTok. There weren't a lot of the fans were saying there weren't a lot of decisions that Harbaugh made last night that they were pissed about. They said, it was one of his better coach games of the year.
well, one of the
So
things I know that they don't like is that he basically saves his timeouts. Like he ended the game
yeah,
with all three of his timeouts,
yeah.
which is like, if you're comfortable with the way that your offense is operating, like yesterday we saw
Which
Washington
it
basically
worked. It
Washington
worked.
basically just pissed away their timeouts yesterday.
Yeah,
They didn't give a shit.
no.
Um, the Eagles, I'm usually cool with how the Eagles use their timeouts. Every once in a while, they just break the huddle late. They always are snapping the ball with under 3 seconds left.
Yeah.
That's an issue that they've kind of had all year. But this list continues with Jesse Minter, who's the Chargers defensive coordinator. Um, Clint Kubiak, who is, I think he's the Seahawks offensive coordinator. Jeff Hafley, who's uh, the Packers defensive coordinator. And then Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator, and then Chris Shula, who I don't know where he is. I don't know what.
Is he in Miami?
No,
No,
you're thinking
that
of
was
Don
Don
Shula.
Shula. Is that his
Yeah,
grandfather?
maybe. I don't know. I'm just on Twitter. Um, and then reading in the comments, some people are saying Dable. I don't think that's going to happen as a head coach, but I definitely think he could be an offensive coordinator for a year and have
Yeah.
success and then get a job. Um,
Now,
let's see.
watching
And
yesterday's Steelers Ravens game though, I think that was the most fun game I've watched all year. Aside from Rams Seahawks too,
I would say the
I
Bears
thought
Niners game was pretty awesome too.
that was a fun game. But the way yesterday's game ended, you had Lamar driving 70 yards downfield in 2 minute drill, like that was great. And then it sucks for Tyler Loop,
Yeah.
to miss a 40-yard field goal. He won't be back next year, which is a
No,
shame
no.
because I just brought him in. But it's weird because the Ravens looked all around the country for their kicker. They could have signed a veteran. They could have done anything. They wanted Tyler Loop. They wanted this kid. And, he wasn't great with kickoffs this year.
He had a
He
penalty.
he had a penalty yesterday. So I don't know. It's a shame. I don't think they're going to cut him, but they're going to bring somebody else in to compete.
Yeah. I
But,
hope but it'll be interesting to see what the Ravens do, man. They've had a lot of drama with Lamar. I just think they're gonna move on from Harbaugh. I think it's time. I think it's ran its course. It's
it
been a
it
long
wouldn't be
relationship.
it
It's been a
wouldn't be the
long
worst.
relationship. He got them a Super Bowl, but they've just had some brutal losses over the years, like, some really tough losses. And definitely, if you didn't question his coaching performance yesterday, there's definitely been losses they've had over the years that have made you question.
Well, the
Um,
Andrews drop uh last year,
yeah, you had the Zay
the Zay
Flowers
Flowers
game
fumble,
against
yeah.
the Chiefs. Like, that's
So
tough.
yeah.
But
Well, I also believe yesterday was it's like a WWE main event. it's job versus job. I think if the Steelers lose, you don't see Tomlin back next year. You could
No,
argue
but
that.
I would have said that Tomlin's job is safer than Harbaugh's because the Steelers have just shown over the years that they're fine with mediocrity and like competing to get into the playoffs every year and not winning. I mean, they haven't
But
won a
to a
playoff
certain
game since
but to a
20.
certain extent, you got to be like, okay, this we cannot continue. They know
I
they're
don't,
good enough to be, to win a playoff game.
yeah, but
So
like they haven't won one since 2016. That was their last playoff
yeah,
game. But
but
another thing that we talked about yesterday was, do you think that DK Metcalf, like what would the result have been had the Steelers lost the last two games? Clearly they were deprived of a DK Metcalf. Um, like what would the reaction have been if DK Metcalf, if they lose those two games to end the year, miss the playoffs without DK Metcalf?
obviously it's easy to point the finger and you know
It was a
at a
selfish
guy. It
decision.
was a selfish act. It was a selfish act, but it's easy to point the finger at a guy who's missing 2 games rather than the entire team. Like they got lucky because Boswell missed an extra point,
Yeah, and
and then
he's
a rookie
pretty
kicker
money.
go. Yeah, this is his second missed extra point in his career. And then you had a rookie kicker trot out there for the Ravens, and he misses a 44-yard field goal. Like you got bailed out. In my opinion, I thought the Ravens played better than you the entire game on both
Yeah.
sides of the ball.
Yeah, I think that
Their secondary wasn't great, but it was better than the Steelers secondary.
yeah, the
Isaiah
Ravens
Likely should have
secondary got
never
banged up
Isaiah
kind of in
Likely
the
should have
game.
never caught that pass. Never. It was a
Yeah,
great
crazy
catch.
risky throw though. But
Yeah.
um I said on we were on Xbox when we were watching the game and I had said I was like this is either going to be an incomplete pass or they're going to hit something for like 20 yards because I
Hmm.
was like the Steelers are going to play the sticks and they found Isaiah Likely who shockingly Jalen Ramsey's like a physical guy and comes over and tried to play the ball just completely whiffed.
Yeah.
Um but it was a great game. It was a great game. Definitely like a top 5 game of the year.
Like I said, it was my favorite game to watch of the entire
Yeah, I
year,
would
from
say that
start to finish.
Seahawks, Rams, I'd agree with. Niners, Bears.
And it's just a
Um,
great rivalry, too. It's a great
yeah.
rivalry. And watching the fans on TV, I don't really praise a lot of fan bases just because, like, I'll be biased here. I think we're the best fan base in all of sports, but just like watching the terrible towels go when they play Renegade, coming out of what I think it's half or something, or going in the fourth quarter, whatever it is. I love it. I think it's sick. I think it's
hmm
so cool. And they've been deprived of a championship for a while now. What, 2011 was the last time they won, something like that, or 2010?
Yeah, it's
Whatever it
probably 2010, I think.
was. Yeah. So I don't
Mhm.
know. It's just cool to watch. And
Yeah,
I've always enjoyed that rivalry. I don't think it gets talked about enough.
yeah. All right, let's check in on the brackets. I'm gonna go find these images. What did you think of the games? Did you watch this weekend?
Yeah, I watched this week. I thought it was pretty good. Well, I didn't watch the Miami Ohio State game because I was at this
Yeah, neither did
bar and they
I.
just they decided to just not put it on, even though I asked twice for
I
them to put
watched
it on.
I
They just
watched
never put it
pieces
on.
of it. I watched pieces of it. But I was watching Stranger
I heard it
Things.
was pretty dominant by Miami throughout the entire game.
Yeah, I know there was a
Ryan
pick
Day just got
six.
out coached. So
All right, so here's one of them. I think shit, I don't all right, this is mine. So week
I
one
got
I had
my
or
I have a picture of mine. So
week one I went 4 for 4. I had all the first round games right. In the second round though, I only got Oregon right. So I was 1 for 4. So basically my bracket is done because I picked Ohio State to win the whole thing.
yeah,
Uh but I have Oregon in the national championship, so I mean that's still alive. Um and then for you, you had
I had Oregon
you
beating
got
JMU, and
you got
then
Indiana right in this
yeah, but
round.
I had Georgia in my national championship. So and I had
Oh,
Georgia winning the whole thing.
we're basically both cooked because you have
Yeah,
I mean you have Indiana in the national championship, so that one you could
which I think is
definitely
going to
win that.
happen. But
Yeah.
I want to calculate the total points up until now because I put 620.
Oh, total points. Yeah, we can get that for next week.
I don't know. What do you think about the playoffs as a whole right now?
As a
I
whole,
think,
like how
yeah,
it's been.
how it's been going on. I think it's too long. I think it takes too long.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think they should just shorten, like, maybe take a game off the regular season so it doesn't end so late. I also think that there's no reason to give the teams like 2 weeks before you even start it. Like, just give them a
Nah,
week, you know? Like, if the NFL isn't giving, like, I get why the NFL does 2 weeks before the Super Bowl. I'm always fine with that. But I don't necessarily like, I like that the NFL just goes 1 week and they're right into the playoffs.
yeah.
I don't get why the college football playoff waits like 2 weeks before they start. Start it the week, play the conference championships, and then the next week you're having these teams go. And it should be
What do
that
you
way
think a
with all
lot of?
bowl
Do you think a
games.
lot of that has to do with like recruiting, stuff like that, like
I,
visits
I
maybe?
don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why they do it. I mean, they've always done it this way. Like the national champ, even when it was the BCS, like the national championship was always super late in the year. When it was a 14 playoff, the playoff didn't start till
Uh-huh.
super late in the year.
Yeah.
Uh, um, I just think that they should start it the week after the conference championships, and then they would finish earlier. But
I wouldn't do that. I would limit the amount of teams. I would make it like an 8 team playoff, a 10
and
team
still give
playoff
them two
instead,
weeks.
and still give them 2 weeks so it still doesn't take as long.
Well, if it
You
was
know
10 te if it
they're
was
not
10
gonna do.
teams, if it was 10 teams, you'd have the same because you'd have to play a first round game. You'd have to play
So you
first
make
round
it
game.
an 8, so you make it 8 teams. Just shorten
Yeah,
the
I don't have
playoffs.
an issue with how many teams are in. I just think just give them 1 week. Like they're it's not like they're not used to playing on one
Yeah.
week's rest. Like I just think get right into it. But as a whole, like the product of what I've watched, the games this weekend were all outside of Texas Tech.
That
Well,
game sucked.
oh
That game
well,
fucking
oh
sucked.
actually no. The games were pretty bad. Ole
No,
Miss Georgia was great,
that was a
but
great game.
other than that, I mean, Indiana dominated Alabama. Uh,
Yeah, but
Miami, Ohio
nobody
State.
expected that. I didn't expect that.
Miami, Ohio State was like a decent football game, but it wasn't anything special. It was close enough. Texas Tech looked outmatched from the kickoff. Was
Yeah.
never close, never competitive. Uh, but yeah, I mean, we got one good game. Hopefully, the games this weekend are good. Ole Miss Miami should be a good game. They match up. The Ole Miss offense versus the Miami defense is an interesting matchup.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. The games are just
Like
it's
I don't really
unreliable.
care for college football like other fans do because I never had a team, you know.
Well,
So
we're getting into college basketball conference play. That's always pretty awesome. You see a lot of good games. Shout out to Temple, man. 6 game win streak. 6 game win streak. Owls are hot right now. If you're
my
not tuning
sweatshirt's
in, get
cooler than
tuned in.
yours.
Huh?
My sweatshirt's cooler than yours.
Where'd you get that?
Some fucking thrift store.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
$5.
And that's a good deal.
I don't know.
Let's briefly before we end talk about the Sixers because the Sixers are fun again. The Sixers
Yeah,
are
they are
fun
fun to
again.
watch, but I'm gonna start by saying this. I am not. I am not getting my hopes up. Not
I mean, you
a
don't have to get your
fucking
hopes up, but
chance.
they're fun.
They're fun to watch. They're fun to watch. I feel like I said this like a few episodes ago. I'm here to watch the young guys and appreciate what the young guys are doing. Be appreciative of Maxey, Edgecombe, Barlow, even Grimes, even though, I don't think he's going to be here next year unless they trade McCain. But
Well, I think they will because McCain has been one of the guys that's been frustrating to see this year.
yeah, which sucks because, I mean, he came off what, a thumb injury? That obviously can't,
Well,
be good.
we had the knee injury and then he had the thumb injury to start
Yeah,
the year. And now he's,
yeah.
he's got his hand wrapped.
I
Um,
think that's a guy who he's not going to succeed here. So I'd
no,
like to see
probably
him go
not.
somewhere. I'd like to see him go somewhere else.
And they're giving him a lot of opportunities. He's playing a lot,
Plays like what? He
the
plays
way,
like 20 minutes a game,
yeah,
something like
and
that.
the way that Nurse has kind of shaped his rotations as of like the last 2 weeks. Uh, Maxey will sit to start the fourth quarter. McCain will start the fourth quarter and be kind of a facilitating option. It'll be McCain, Edgecombe, Embiid, George, and
Uh-huh.
usually like a Quentin Grimes maybe or a Don Barlow, a Jabari Walker, whoever they have in there as the fifth guy. But they needed to salvage that road trip because they started off 0-2 and they did it. They won the last
Yeah.
three. They looked really impressive in Dallas. They looked really impressive in New York. Um, By the way, to Knicks fans, stop bitching about the back-to-backs and having to play the Sixers on the back-to-backs. The Sixers have the most back-to-backs in the league, so I don't care that you're coming off a back-to-back. Figure it out. Um,
I mean, if they don't win, if the Sixers don't win tonight, then
yeah,
I
Denver's
mean
playing nobody.
they have nobody playing.
I don't know who's gonna play tonight for
They've
for
got
Denver.
nobody playing.
I know Gordon's out, Murray's out, Jokic is out, Christian Brown I
Valanciunas is
think is
out.
out, Valanciunas is
Valanciunas
out.
is out.
Yeah,
Like
like my dad sent me that, and he was like, "No excuses tonight," and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Um,
it would be hilarious though if they lost.
well, I wonder if they'll sit Embiid.
Probably. There's no reason to play them.
I wonder if they'll sit
But right
Embiid,
now,
but
I'm
but
looking at
but
real. It says probable.
yeah,
So
I think they will play Embiid because he's gotten into a rhythm of playing everything but back-to-backs, which has been good for him. And something I'll say about Embiid and what has made this so fun and this season is for all the shit that Embiid has gone through, whether it was self-inflicted or, put on him by the city, the Marcus Hayes situation, Keith Pompey,
mhm.
the Keith Pompey, like all of that. It's just great to see stuff like Joel gets the dunk the other night and he throws his hands up and then he's going to celebrate with his teammates. Like stuff like that just makes you happy. Even if he only scored 20, 20, he was great against the Knicks. He looked athletic. He was jumping for rebounds. Like he looked good. But, 26 points, like we're used to Joel getting 40, but he's down to, 25 to 28 a night, but he's having
Nice.
fun and it's enjoyable to watch him play. Every time he gets to and one and he goes like this, like it's just fun to see them. And I think VJ has a lot to do with that. Like I think VJ is the perfect fit for this locker room, and it helps that he's just awesome as a basketball player.
I think he takes the load off of the starting lineup, and he
Yeah,
takes a lot of the load off of Maxey. Once Oubre comes back, I think they're going to be rolling even more. I don't know when he's coming back. I have no idea.
soon,
I know he's
soon, very
shooting.
soon,
He's doing the shoot arounds now, but
very
again,
soon, I
I
think.
don't know how that works in the NBA. So yeah, hopefully it's as soon as we think it is. But again, I look back to at the end of every game, I think the coaching is a huge problem.
It's been
Coming
better.
out of the
It's been
half,
better.
coming out of the half, the
Well,
third
they've been
quarter against
better
the
in the.
Knicks, the third quarter against the Knicks, I don't think was terrible.
No, it was good, and they had a
It was
good third
fine.
quarter. They've won
Yeah.
three straight third quarters. They
Mhm.
won all three games they won. They won the third quarter, so
But
that's
what
positive.
is that? Because to me, it just looks like I know it comes down to coaching, but it just looks like a lack of effort coming out of
Well,
the
they had
half.
to change. They had to change up their rotations, and that's that's what they did.
Does that have to do with like sets and like plays, or is that just like okay, we're up by 15 now, let's take our foot off the gas?
Well, it was an issue of early in the year. It was an issue of like every third quarter would start and they would give up a 10-0 run. So like they
No.
would. There were a couple games like they were up 10 at halftime, and then all of a sudden it was like a tie game. That hasn't been a problem. They started getting closer in third quarters, but they were still losing. And now, recently, as of like the last 2 weeks, they've made those changes in their rotations and how they kind of are controlling people's minutes.
Yeah.
Maxi is basically now playing almost the whole third quarter, and then he sits to start the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And Bede will play a good amount of the third quarter, sit, start the fourth quarter, and then something that my dad and I were discussing we really like is that they will sit Embiid in the fourth quarter for like 2 to 3 minutes and get him fresh, and then they bring him back in with like 4 minutes, 3 minutes, and he's more cup ready to go. There's not really a minutes restriction on Embiid anymore. He played 38 minutes against the Grizzlies, so you know that's good for
They just got
size
to
and
beat the
stuff.
bad teams.
Yeah,
They
they
got to
have a
beat the
stretch of
bad
games.
teams.
They have a stretch of games coming up because they play Denver tonight, who's like we just said playing nobody, and then they play Washington, who they've got to
Oh,
beat, and then they have Orlando coming in. They have 2 games in Toronto. They have a back-to-back in Toronto. Like they play Toronto in Toronto and then Toronto in Toronto. So that's kind of weird. I know they have Cleveland coming to Philly for 2 games. Uh, so they have some tough games mixed in with some games that they got to win.
how about the Fly guys? Playing well.
I didn't
They're
watch.
playing
Impressive win.
well.
I know didn't they drop 2 games coming out of the break?
They lost to
They lost to Calgary and they lost to Seattle, I think, right?
yeah, but they beat Edmonton.
They beat it. They
So
beat they beat down on Edmonton.
yeah. which is always good. It's
Yeah.
a top team in the league.
But
But
Edmonton, like us, has a goalie problem. I mean, Calvin Pickard is not very
yeah,
good,
he's
and
he's
I
horrible.
forget who the other guy is.
The other guy is hold on, fuck, I forget his name.
Well, Anaheim is in Anaheim is in Philly tomorrow. You know the X
That's gonna
X
be good.
whatever the Xmo or whatever it's called. It's gonna be juiced up with
Yeah,
Cutter Gauthier in town.
I don't. It's saying though that the game is gonna be on Victory Plus. I
Nah,
don't even know what that is.
It'll still be on NBC Philly.
I think they're gonna beat down on Anaheim, but Anaheim's good.
Yeah,
Anaheim's good.
and as much as we don't like him,
He's
Gauthier
playing
is
well.
good too. Yeah.
He's playing well. He's
But
playing well. So
The Flyers are
it also depends
third
who
in the
starts
Metro.
tomorrow. It depends who starts tomorrow. So if Erickson starts tomorrow, you're fucked.
Hopefully it's Vladar. Uh, the Flyers are third in the Metro, so you can't really ask for much more.
Oh, they bumped down to third.
Yeah, the
They were
Islanders have 50.
second. They were
The
second
Islanders
two
have
days ago.
50 points. Flyers just have a lot of overtime losses, but yeah, Carolina's pretty good.
I mean, I think the Avalanche are going to win the whole thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
maybe.
they're the best team in sports in a long time. They're 31 and
Yeah,
3, so
31 and 3.
that's
Thunder lost
insane.
last night. Thunder lost to the Suns. Suns are surprisingly good out in the NBA. Um, Thunder lost again though.
The best thing we could get regarding the Thunder was it. I would like to see a Spurs Thunder
Western
Western
Conference
Conference
Finals.
final.
Yeah, that would
That
be
would be
awesome.
great. That would be great.
I
Just
think
in
though the
time for them to
Thunder
come back
just
from
with a
school.
lack, I think with a lack of experience for the Thunder could hurt them, or for not for the Thunder for the Spurs.
Spurs. But who
I think
knows? I think they're all playing really well.
I think that lack I think the lack of experience, especially even going down to the to coaching, I think it could burn them. You know,
Uh-huh.
because Pop's not there anymore.
Yeah. But who knows?
We'll see. Yeah, very all sports today on the pod, but it's an interesting sports time. So, and it's a good time in Philly. Teams are
It's a
pretty
lot of
good
shit
right
going
now.
on around
Yeah,
the world.
we're not going to talk about the Phillies because who cares? Um, Hired Don Mattingly as a bench coach, but I
Well,
think that you could put
they knew that shit was gonna happen.
I think you could put Jason Speller on the bench, and I don't think it would make much of a difference for this team. So yeah,
He'd be a
but
great
that's
third base coach.
you think he's got a good stance out there at third?
Well, he'd stop the foul ball.
What about Gray Dennis? All right. Well,
Yeah, do you
that is
think we
episode
could invade Venezuela ourselves?
like us two?
Yeah,
No,
like our group chat
no.
seemed pretty easy for
In like
Delta
guerrilla
Force.
in like guerrilla warfare.
Yeah,
I don't know, bro. We have Avi. That's like not
some
help.
stink bombs.
Start hitting them for fives.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
guys. We're
think we
really trying here. Like, I know we're not like investigating like Somali daycare shit, and we're not covering the news, but just subscribe already,
yeah,
please.
please.
Just fucking
I promise
subscribe.
I promise we'll get more interesting.
Yeah,
But you guys in the world are just not giving us interesting stuff to talk about. It's
yeah.
not us. You guys just need to be more interesting.
We should set up a call line or caller versus caller.
Yeah.
Caller versus caller would be great to talk about
You know, we
anything, whatever you want, abortion, gun laws, do whatever you want to talk about. It's not a big deal.
w- we should also get people to join the show live and do like, the one-on-one basketball and they just jump into their camera. We could just make this show, as interesting as possible, but we need you to be more interesting.
Yeah.
So, let's get that figured out, people. To our 22 subscribers,
Give us topics.
yeah, drop topics in the comments. You guys never comment, and you don't like, and you don't watch. So,
I
this
think
is
we have a
a
combined 3 likes.
yeah, and we have
So
a
all you
comment.
fucking people watching, just hit the like button. It's really not that
Yeah,
difficult.
just show that you care. Just show us that you
Yeah.
care and get more interesting.
Because we're not making merch. That's not happening. No
Yeah,
one,
we'll
we're not
make fidget
making
spinners
merch.
if
I'll
we're
make a
feeling
dildo for
generous.
your wife. That's what I'll fucking do if you really want that.
Okay, that's another thing I
That's
gotta
the
cut
merch
out.
we'll make with my face on it.
I gotta cut
Thanks
that
for
out.
watching the episode tonight, guys. You don't cut that shit out.
Um, it's a game time decision.
Whatever you want to do, I have no
Yeah.
control.
Episode 7 done. Don't do drugs that you don't know. Google them if you need to figure them out. Um, yeah,
All right.
that's the moral of the story. Episode 7
Peace.
wrapped. Go Birds. Let's get it done next week.
Big win coming.